Hey guys, this is Austin. This might be the nicest piece of laptop hardware that you can buy. Oh, what? Oh, that's cool. As you open the box, it like presents the laptop to you. I mean, no one ever needs to do that. You're only gonna open the box once, but that's pretty dope. What's cool about this is this has ASUS's new Ergo Lift hinge. So when I open it from the bottom, it actually elevates the entire laptop up. That is actually something kind of different. Now this means that there are some interesting quirks with the design. So if you take a look at the right side, in addition to having two full Thunderbolt 3 ports, you're going to find a headphone jack. Pretty standard, except that when you actually open up the laptop, the headphone jack is attached to the screen as opposed to the body of the laptop. Kind of trippy, but it totally works. As you would expect for a premium laptop, it is going to be entirely made out of aluminum, so I feel like this blue looks pretty nice, especially with the copper accents. But what I really like is the red model of the ZenBook S. I mean, it's a little flashy, but yeah. Before we get too far into it though, I actually want to see what else comes in the box. So we have a power adapter. This guy is going to be using USB-C, although I assume they will probably work with other generic adapters. We also get a USB-C to USB-A adapter, as well as USB-C to HDMI, a nice touch to include in the box. You can also put the laptop inside the carrying case that it comes with. So it might not be super premium or anything, but it should help to keep this from getting all scratched up in your bag. So after spending some time with the ZenBook S, one of the things that is still jumping out to me is just how solidly it is constructed. So it is going to be about 13mm thick, which is on the very, very thin side. However, there's basically no flex to it at all. I mean, even something like the screen, I mean, you can really torque it and it's not going to go anywhere. And the same thing goes for the body. I mean, this is not something I would do with most laptops, but I'm putting some serious torque on it and it's staying very, very solid. It's nice to see in something that's going to be just this thin, or thick, depending on your marketing term of choice. The keyboard is also terrific. Not only are the keycaps nice and large, and it actually kind of looks a little bit like a MacBook from the outside, but you're going to be getting a decent amount of travel, and importantly, because you do have that Ergo Lift hinge, the entire keyboard is going to be slightly tilted up. Now this is not something that's very common in, well, pretty much any other laptop, but I really appreciate how it just gives a little bit less strain to your wrists. The trackpad is a little bit on the small side, but it's going to be totally fine, and you're also going to find a fingerprint sensor for Windows Hello support. What's nice is that you're going to be getting two full Thunderbolt 3 ports on the right side, which are of course going to be able to support not only an external GPU, but all the different adapters that can go off of that. But there is going to be another USB-C port on the left side of the laptop, all of which can be used to charge, USB, video out. It's a nice setup, even though it would definitely be nice to have a USB-A port. The main issue here is that, well, the laptop is literally just too thin to fit any kind of bigger ports. So there's really a lot to like with a form factor like this. What there's not a lot to like is with the speakers of the ZenBook S, and that is a terrible transition, but I'm gonna roll with it. On the bottom of the laptop, you're going to find two speakers. They sound okay, but first of all, they're not going to be all that loud. And second of all, anytime that they're going to be facing on the bottom of the laptop, it just means that it's sort of hitting the underside and kind of echoing out. They're just not that great. Thankfully, ASUS did opt to put the webcam on the top of the display. You know, like where it actually belongs. Now it's only going to be 720p, but it looks and sounds alright. Most importantly though, you're not looking up my nose right now, so thumbs up for that. The ZenBook S is rocking a 13.3-inch display with either a 1080p or a full 4K resolution. Both are going to be touch enabled, and the main difference is that while the 4K panel is going to hurt your battery life as well as performance, I have it here and it looks really, really nice. Not only is it going to be very color accurate, but it also gets pretty bright with a full 350 nits of brightness, something that is very helpful when you take this outside and can still see the screen. Performance is not only solid, but it's exactly what you would expect for an ultrabook of this generation. So inside you can choose between either a Core i5 or Core i7. Both of them are going to be 8th gen. In this case, I've got the i7-8550U. Now the actual benchmarks are, well, not exactly surprising considering that it's exactly the same performance of basically every other ultrabook we've taken a look at over the past year. Totally solid and a big step up over the last generation. If you opt for the 256GB SSD, which is the base model, it is going to be a SATA-based drive. However, if you go for the 512GB version, which is what I have here, not only is it going to be a much faster M2 drive, but you also get the option of going all the way up to a full 1TB of capacity. This guy has a choice of either 8 or 16GB of DDR4 memory. My 16GB RAM option does have dual channel memory, which is helpful for the graphics performance, but what isn't helpful for the graphics performance are the thermals. Now it's not going to be that bad, but considering that you do have this Ergo Lift design, which in theory should help the airflow and kind of cool things down, it does run a little bit on the warmer side. Inside, this guy is rocking a 50 watt-hour battery. Now that's not going to be that big, it's a little bit smaller than something like the LG Gram, and with the 4K panel, it means that you're only going to be getting around 6 to 7 hours of fairly regular battery life. but the screen is so nice that I'm actually kind of willing to give up a little bit of battery in exchange for a nice, sharp, crisp panel. If you stack the base model up to similarly spec'd competitors such as the XPS 13, it is going to be a little bit more expensive. However, once you start adding options such as the 4K display, extra RAM, as well as a 512 gig SSD, it actually tops out at around $1,500. Still a little bit on the pricey side, but it's actually not a bad value. My big takeaway is that it's hard to beat this design. Seriously, props to ASUS for actually doing something different. There are so many great Ultrabooks out there at that $1,000-ish price point that the ZenBook S with its ergo lift actually does legitimately stand out.